Hey everybody! Well, today I thought we could take a look at this really cool wood model kit from a company called Timberkits. So I just discovered this company. They're based in the UK and they make really nice wood models of automaton type of things. Very similar to the Red Riding Hood video that I did for that model kit. So now this one here is a drummer and you can see how he looks. And then on the back here, kind of shows you how the wood pieces are laid out. So I think some of this you will be gluing. I'm not really sure, versus the other ones that just kind of push together. But these look like they're pretty nifty. Now I bought a couple of other ones that I want to try out. There's a train set, and also I bought a car. So I want to try a few of these out because I thought they were really cool. So let's take a look at the parts. Alright, so let's take a look at inside here. I'm curious to see what the parts look like since they're not going to be in sheets like the other models that I've put together. Oh, look at that. Oh, that's neat. Look at that. Are these... Okay, so they're stuck on there. Oh, I can see there's some double stick tape right there. Okay, so this is really neat the way they did this. I'm guessing these are instructions. Oh, no, this is... I think there's a little bit of hardware or something in here. I can hear something rattling. Look at the way they did that. That is great. So the pieces are labeled, and they're just kind of stuck on there, so they're not just loose. That's really, really cool. All right, let's see if we can pull this out. Let's see, is that a box? Oh, okay. Ooh, okay, so no, that's just a hollow thing. All right, so here we got some more parts. This is really nice wood that they're using on these. This looks like the base. Or maybe that's both for the base. Nice little wood parts there. Oh, look at that. They give you some glue. Looks like an Elmer's glue type of thing. Different rings in here. I think that's his head. That's his hair. Looks really cool. Not sure what these are. A couple of pieces of card there. Alright, so this should be fun to put together. A little bit of sandpaper. And then it looks like the instructions here. Alright, well that's really cool. This was very impressive to see the way they did that. That's great. Love that. So I also found this nice little ruler that they provide. Very cool. Here's the instructions. I guess we can take a quick look at these. So it kind of gives you a glossary of the parts right there. Everything looks like it's labeled. Very cool. You can see all that right there. So any holes that you're going to need should already be drilled, so that's good. Looks like quite the mechanism going on in there. I think they have like easy, intermediate, challenging, and expert or something like that. Different levels. Look at that, there's his face. It looks like you're going to glue his nose, eyes, and mouth on. And there's this little symbol here means that you can go on their website, and there's videos that show how to put these together in case you have any issues. Very cool. I suppose you can probably paint these when you're done. I might do that. I might paint this little guy, see how he looks afterwards. Very, very cool. Okay, this is neat. I really like this a lot. This should be a lot of fun to put together. Alright, well I can't wait to get started on it. Alright, so I just wanted to show you the inner workings of this because it's pretty elaborate. So you kind of fit the pieces onto these rods right here, and then you'll later glue them on. So you have to make sure everything's lined up absolutely perfect. So these things here that move like this, they have to be aligned with these holes that are under here. See the hole there and the hole there. Alright, and then this one, which moves this way, that one is aligned with that hole right there. Alright, and then these things, when you put these on, they have to be exactly the way they tell you to do it. So you can see how this whole thing turns. So these two here, this one here and that one, they're opposite. So see how that one sticks up right there, and then the other one isn't. So then on this side it is. So you got to make sure that's correct. This one here has got this triangle shape. The flat side has got to be lined up with the one that's sticking up. Then you got the spacers in between, those cylinder pieces, and you got one with the flat side up and then the other one with the pointy side up. So it's very specific. So that's because when this turns, you can see how they're opposite. So you're actually building this upside down. Once you get all of this built, you're going to put this top piece on right here, and it glues onto this. And then that is actually, this is actually the bottom. You're going to flip it over, and that's what those holes are for, is because all these other little rods here, these dowels, are going to go through those holes, and that's what's going to end up making the guy move when you turn this thing. It's really cool. So yeah, so I'm going to let this dry for a good half hour maybe or more, because you really want that to dry before you go messing around with it. Plus, once you turn it over, it's going to start putting the pressure on these pieces. So yeah, make sure that's completely dry. Also, this little thing right here, that really helps. When it tells you which rod to use, which dowel to use, you can match these pieces up to that, and that makes it it really makes it work a lot better. It's very helpful to have that, so I'm glad they did that. So this is very cool. I'm really enjoying this build so far. Okay, here he is all finished now. Oh my gosh, really love this thing. I'm really getting into these wood automaton kits. These are fantastic. So, everything went together pretty good. There was a couple areas that I found a little bit challenging, but I'll discuss some of that here when we get a close-up of it. But I just want to give you an overall look at this. It's very cool. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn this, and then you can see the movement of how this works. So, you can see how he's hitting that drum. You can see how he's hitting the hi-hat over here. His foot is hitting the bass over there. I mean, there's a lot of movement. You wouldn't think there's this much movement, but there is. And back here you can see, I guess that's the hi-hat. I'm not sure. I'm not an expert on drumming, but you can see the nice little movements that go on. Now, I'll get a close-up so you can see all this, but I'm surprised at how good this works. I love this. Absolutely fantastic. All right, let's get a close-up so you can get all the details down. Now, one thing I noticed about mine is he looks down more than the one that's on the box, but that's just because of the way the hole was drilled into his head, so that little post right there goes in there at an angle. So he is looking down further. So they might be slightly different. Each kit might be slightly different. Plus, when you glue things like the face and stuff, you might glue the eyes and nose in just different positions. But here you can see all this great kind of mechanics that goes into this. So it was really fun to put together, as I mentioned. Now, one thing you have to kind of watch out when you're doing is this little ring right here, and rings just like that. That's what holds everything together. But when you are gluing a part where for instance, this leg moves, you got to make sure that you are only gluing the ring, because if you get glue behind it where this is, it's going to make the leg get stuck. So that's one of the kind of things that I had to make sure to be very careful of, is not to glue past that little ring. And that happens on several sections here because there's so many things that move. There's that post right there that makes his drum hand move. Also, when you are putting this on, so you're going to glue the drummer and the bench because they're glued together right here. When you put that on, you got to make sure that you line up these posts so that they're straight up and down, because if you don't, they're going to get stuck. For instance, this one here was at an angle a little bit and it kept getting stuck. So the only way I could kind of fix that is I had to glue this bench. See how it's not aligned with the back here? And I noticed theirs was the same way, so now I see why that was the case. And that's because you need to turn this way a little bit so that this post will align properly with the foot and on this piece right here. And then these ones have to be straight up and down too in there. So it's very cool. So when you are turning this, you can kind of see how this works. So those triangle shaped pieces are what makes that thing go up and down really quick. That's what's making him hit that drum so quickly. It's very cool. And see how that little post back here, I'm not sure if I can turn this, but you can see it back there. See, that's what's making his hand move, and that's what's doing this part right here. And then these ones here, these kind of alternate back and forth. So there's his foot hitting that bass like that, and the other bass, or the other foot, is just kind of hitting this cymbal back here. Let me see if I can switch hands. Alright, so now you can kind of see how this gets stuck every now and then. There we go. But you can see how that little thing right there is what his foot catches on to lift that. That's one of the last parts that you put together. Here you can see how this is working down here. It's a simple mechanism, but there's a lot going on. I'm always kind of surprised at how these things, who figured this out? I think it's really cool how they were able to figure all of this out. So he looks like he's really doing some drumming here. It's fantastic. So of course, if you wanted to paint this, I think that would really kind of bring this thing to life, because there's no, you know, he kind of looks plain. Maybe paint his face or something, or his clothes. Maybe make these look brass, the little symbols and stuff. But I don't know if I'm going to paint him. I will say that if you do paint him, you got to make sure that you don't get paint in these areas, like say the knee right there. If you get paint in there, it's not going to move as freely. And it might be better to paint him before you put them together. But I just kind of wanted to put them together. I was kind of just not sure he was going to go together. But this is fantastic. I really absolutely love this thing. So there we have it, the drummer automaton wood kit from Timberkits. So as I mentioned, this company is based in the UK, and they ship this pretty quick. When I ordered this, I also bought a train set, and there's also a vintage car. So I'll be doing videos on those kits as well. And then now that I've seen how good these are, there's about 3 or 4 other kits on their website that I want to buy. So I'll put a link in the description if you're interested in one of these, and you kind of check out all the cool different kits that they have. There's probably something there for everyone, and they also kind of have them in categories, like how difficult they are. Some are easy and some of them are more complicated. There's like 4 different categories. I can't remember which one this one fell into, but I paid $28.50 for this, and I don't think that's a bad price at all for it. So I'm very impressed with this, and I am definitely going to be getting more of these. Alright, well that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I very much appreciate it. And until the next video, I'll see you on the next one. I can't stop playing with this thing. It's so cool. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.